Good morning, Miss. This is my first video about ESP and the importance to know one definition about this. Through your teaching, I learned that this method is focused on the analysis of needs and analysis of text in order to the learners are able to communicate with other people. It is important to mention that this method was created by accomplished with the needs of foreign people because these people wanted to find new opportunities to establish in countries that they don't know how to speak their languages. Yeah, and so this method uh, was focused on the language appropriate in a specific area in order to improve their knowledge in learners. This method has their own methodologies and activities in order to enhance their skills. For example, these students are able to communicate correctly in the specific area that they want to communicate correctly in the environment that they are. Good afternoon, teacher. Okay, in this moment I'm going to explain about the areas in ESP. First of all, it is important to know that this type of teaching it could be taught in different areas and it depends on the context. For example, the students that want to learn in a specific area is the case of the doctors and engineers that want to learn that specific language. In this case, it is important to mention that teachers present different difficulties in this area due to the implementation of the activities and methodologies. That is why the students need to um, find the best um, ways to learn, and the teachers need to improve their skills and abilities. It that's the case in the teaching for academic purposes and teaching for occupational purposes, that every area needs to be improved in this uh, ESP. Hi Miss. In this case, I'm going to talk about the demands of ESP. Well, in this class, I learned that ESP could be very difficult because teachers don't have the opportunities to learn in the best way, because in many countries don't have the institutions with programs with specific areas in this. So in many cases, teachers that select this kind of method, they cope with the solitude because they have to work alone instead of working with other person that have the same um, area. For that reason, in this case, it could be very difficult besides, the programs in the institutions aren't the the best because they don't have the strategies and techniques to instruct these kind of teachers in order to teach correctly in ESP. Good afternoon, Miss. This is my video about the effectiveness of ESP. Well, first of all, we have to be clear that ESP doesn't have the enough investigations about this. That is why I agree with a book about the investigation of this. So in this case, I read about the effectiveness of ESP despite the limitations of this. Well, one of the problems is the cost and the time for investigations through the ESP. On another hand, the problems in ESP started when the researchers don't know how to create this type of investigation. But in this case, I support with my research through the author, where he shows that ESP could be effective due to the limited objectives in the needs of students that look for the improvement of the learning. So that is why I consider that is very important to apply ESP where we know the field of the learning. So that's my opinion about ESP.
Good afternoon, teacher. This is my video about the reflection of the presentation. Well, my topic was when teachers, course developers conduct the investigation. For me, it was very interesting to know that the ESP doesn't have the enough investigations to apply at the teaching. So I saw that other branches has many investigations and researches about this, and the discourse of the ESP is lower compared to others, and it was important to recognize that the discourse it is important in order to improve the abilities of learners and different ways of the specific need. So I think that teachers should do more investigations related to how to improve the skills of learners and try to connect all their experience to apply in the teaching. So in that way the learners are able to communicate in a correct way in the learning process, and that is the case of this. So I think that the correct material it is necessary for improving of these skills in specific needs.